One thing you'll find in your math classes is that there's lots of different ways to write the same thing. And although sometimes it can be confusing, it's actually pretty cool because it helps you keep track of what variable or what letter is affecting which one. Like for example, most of the time, x is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable. What that means is that your y value depends on whatever x was. X can usually change on its own, and whatever x does affects what y is. That's why we call y the dependent variable. So one way that this is written is kind of different from what you've seen before. What you've seen before is probably something like this: y equals 3x plus 2. A new way to write that is using what's called function notation. Instead of y, I'm going to say f of x. What that means is the function that's using x is equal to 3x plus 2. It's the same thing written in two different ways. And I think it's kind of neat when we get into doing some more problems with numbers, is that I can stick a number in there for x, and I can show what number that is here as well. You can kind of tell what x number you're plugging in, the independent variable, to get your y value output variable. One last thing to keep in mind when you're working with functions and function notation is the ideas of domain and range. Domain is the set of all x values, or the independent variables. Range is the set of y values, or the dependent variables, which means that your domain changes on its own, it's independent. Your range is dependent on that domain stuff. It's a lot to keep track in your head, and as you can tell, my head's kind of struggling with it too, but you'll see once we get going with some problems, you can really keep it all straight and do a good job with function notation.